there are the beginnings of an intellectual revulsion at what has been done to conservatism as a governing philosophy in America. And I think one of the roles that the Daily Dish is now trying to play is to be a place where those voices can be brought to a wider audience. So I think of Bruce Bartlett, who, along with me, in the early part of the Bush administration, called them out on their fiscal irresponsibility, is a voice that I'm very happy to keep bringing. I think much later, someone like David Frum has come to that recognition, even though I think we're still going to disagree about foreign policy. I think there are some libertarian voices that are out there, and I think a younger generation of reasoned people. I think of people like Damon Linker. There are people out there. Unfortunately, what's happened in Washington, and more generally, is that the conservative movement is bankrolled by certain large donors with certain overwhelming interests. And they police the discourse with a ferocity and a lockstep mentality that has frozen conservatism as a philosophy in place, and turned it into an ideology that cannot ever change, or allied it with such fundamentalist concepts that there can be no real conservative dialogue, because dialogue is not what fundamentalism is about. And the price of simply existing as a conservative in Washington, to be in good standing, is to obey the dictates of whichever this constellation of donors and organizations, from Heritage to AEI, to even something like Pajamas Media, which is apparently financed by people who are also financing West Bank settlements, is if you stray, you are expelled, and then also thoroughly demonized. So intellectually, we are, the blogosphere allows these kind of ideas to percolate. And I mean, Conor Friedersdorf, for example, is a young conservative whom I've brought on specifically with the mandate of, find, encourage, let us bring to light young writers right of center who have not been yet basically bought by this establishment and then coerced to certain positions. Daniel Larison is another person. Now, these people don't all agree by any means. That's the point. I mean, but they do not, they have acknowledged that conservatism in the past 10, 15, 20 years, it's not that there was a great period of pure great conservatism which never had some of these populist, xenophobic, racist, bigoted strains. It's that was always there. It is that there was also a lot of good stuff there that were responding to contingent situations, such as the collapse of the social democracy model in the 1970s and a really smart critique of the welfare state, and a really, I think, critical insight into how one defeats Soviet communism. What's happened is that all that stuff has slowly been marginalized, and all the worst has come to the surface. And that won't change overnight. And I think from everything we're seeing, talk radio and these, I think, essentially corrupting institutions in Washington are turning conservatism into something that's really very creepy, but also emotionally and psychically powerful for people. Yeah. So all you can do is write books, write articles, write blogs that articulate what you believe.